Welcome to the Top 10 Gardener with Master Gardener Ken Lain. Gardening can be challenging, but with Ken's tips, tricks, and top 10 advice, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, welcome your garden host, Ken Lain.
And welcome to this week's edition of The Mountain Gardener. Your host, Ken Lain, here every week talking about the landscapes of northern Arizona. In January, we're wrapping this thing up. We're 1 month into the season, the spring planting season. It's virtually here. There are a couple things you should feel angst about. You should feel anxious. You should want to kind of prepare getting things ready. And one is soil preparation. The other is pruning. I mean, you need to get these things are kind of in the way. So during nice days, there's time. But when you got a nice day, go out there and enjoy the fresh air, enjoy the sunshine, and get your gardens ready. Because planting season is March 1. You start with potatoes and garlics and onions. Some of you at the lower elevations, you're at the end of February. We're basically a month out before we start. We're already starting to get like the 2024, their seed are here, freshly tested. They're 90% plus germination rate, very good quality seed. They're just here. So it's just starting the 2024 pottery. It's here. The things are happening at the garden center. The fruit trees show up this week. So that's this year, spring crop will show up. So you're here. One thing that I've kind of completed this week, soil preparation. You really do want to get your soil ready ahead of time. You want to load it up with organics and manures. And I'll share what I've done in my gardens. You know, my name's Ken. We're just friends over the airwaves, and we're talking gardening. This is working in my backyard. I think it'll work in yours as well. So a couple things. We'll show you how to do that. But you want to get your soils ready because you're going to load them up with lots of organic material. Sometimes that makes your gardens, the soil hot, or it has too much nitrogen. It can burn brand new seedlings. And so you want to have it settle, so kind of let it just even out for a few weeks before you go plant. That's why you want to start, March 1, I want to back up about a month and start my soil prep there. I want to start my seedlings before the March 1. So if you're going to plant broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, lettuce, all those early spring vegetables, you want to start those several weeks before you're putting them out in the garden. I know the frost dates. Yeah, but Ken, all my neighbors say don't plant before Mother's Day. Well, those aren't gardeners. Those are yardners, what I call them. They're backyard folks that are out there only when the weather is perfect. They're not trying to get more beauty for an extra 6 months out of the year with early spring plantings. They aren't trying to increase their harvest because they're doing early spring and summer and a fall planting. That's gardeners take care of all of the seasons. Yardiners, I know it's a play on words. I know I just made that up, just came to mind and just kind of threw it out there, but they're not real gardeners. Those folks only plant summer. They're just tomato gardeners. That's Mother's Day. We start planting the summer things, but between March and then, that's 2 months ahead. We're planting all the early spring. The first crop of pansies just showed up. And so they are starting to kind of be here. Hold on just a second. I've got this. What is going on with my cancel? Remember, folks, if you're on the airwaves, you should turn your phone off. Oh my gosh. I apologize for those watching this via video on YouTube or Apple or Spotify. Sorry about that. So off. There we go. I thought I'd done that, but my watch went off. Anymore, we're like cyborgs. We've got multiple devices plugged into us. We've got earbuds, phones, and watches all connected, telling us you've got a phone call and it's spam. You want to answer it? No. Anyway, back at it. Sorry about that. So soil, what I've done is I've got a lot of raised beds. That's mainly where I do most of my flower and vegetable gardening. So I do a lot of containers. So that's a little bit different. I don't know if time to touch on that. I'll see if I can, but your raised beds are just out there in the yard. You really want a 2 to 3 inch layer of fresh, new organic matter topped over the entire garden bed. And you want to turn that into the garden soil 1 shovel's depth, or about 1 rototiller, however you're turning your soil to that depth. So you want to work that into there. You want to pull out all those old roots, anything that was left over there, the debris. Those are not your friend. Those carry disease. They compost in the ground. They rob the next spring's plants of nitrogen. But if you take all those old roots from last year out of there, and then you put a 2 to 3 inch layer of mulch and manure is what I did. I like manure. This is the time when you add manures to your yard, but manure is hot. It's very high in nitrogen, which makes your seedlings grow like crazy, like wildflower. I mean, like wildflowers, like wildfire, boom, takes off. And so you want to add a 2 to 3 inch layer. And I just take it back. Here's what I do. Whatever open bag is at the garden center, I just take some of those because I've already paid for them and they're mine. I just kind of, instead of putting a piece of tape on them and try to sell them to you, I just take them home and I use them. So, and it's about a 50-50 blend, manure and composted mulch. So the mulch we have, we composted for over a year. It's screened down to 1/4 inch minus. It's very fine. It looks like rich. It almost looks like a large coffee ground. It's like that. The manure we have is composted an extra 6 months just so we can deodorize it. I find it offensive to sell customer gardeners stinky, gross things I put in the back of your Lexus. It's just rude. I'm not going to do that. So we take the extra time to deodorize it. So it's not, in fact, you can't even tell it's manure. It looks like compost, but it's richer. And so you want to do a 50-50 blend over that raised bed, over that garden plot, and then turn that into 1 shovel's depth. Now, there's a couple things I add to that. I'm a kind of a lazy gardener. I want to add as much as I can. And if I'm going to take a shovel and turn things down, I'm going to power up the rototiller. I want to till it all at once. I don't want to do it 2 or 3 times, just once and done. I'm out. So I put that layer of organic matter, mulch, and manure. I'll add my fertilizer for spring. So I make a fruit and vegetable food. It's an organic food, but I like that one, either for flowers or vegetables, either one. It's made for vegetables, fruiting and vegetable crops, because it's loaded up with calcium. Calcium is what helps you get a bigger, more flavorful fruit or vegetables. If you want bigger blackberries, fruit and vegetable food. If you want bigger tomatoes, cucumbers, sweeter peppers, fruit, vegetable food. Because of the calcium. The calcium is what helps it also eliminates blossom end rot. There's a lot of benefits with calcium, but it's a 6-4-4-7 formula. The 7 is 7% calcium. I add the recommended amount of that. I add some gypsum at the same time because I like to grow tomatoes. Many times your blossom end rot, that black spot that forms, that's a calcium deficiency. And it just it's from your soil. If you know that's where it's coming from, load it up. So I add the fruit and vegetable food, gypsum, and sulfur. Those 3 things. Sulfur. The reason I'm adding sulfur, this is unique. This Midwest folks, tune in. You're used to adding hydrated lime to your soil. You're always trying to raise the pH of your soil. We never do that here. Our water is so alkaline. If you were to add more lime to your soil while you're turning this in, you would just sterilize the soil. It would be you take your pH and put it off the charts. And so your backyard, wherever you're tuned in, I'm tuned in from Sedona, I'm different. You're not. I'm from Camp Verde, I'm different. You're not. I'm from Mayer, Dewey, Humboldt, Prescott Valley. You are the same as the rest of us. Oh yeah, but Skull Valley, Baghdad, we're different. No, Paulden, Skull Valley, we're all the same. Chino, you're the same. We have very alkaline water and terrible soil. So you got to help plants with this. So you got to change the texture by adding some organic matter, and you need to change the chemistry by lowering the pH. Sulfur lowers that pH. If you put your mulch, your manure, your food, fruit and vegetable food, I like that one specifically made for here. It's pelletized. It just works right in. Sulfur, gypsum, you are going to have a magical, unbelievable harvest. Just so many tomatoes, you're going to bring them into the garden center to garden class and just give them away because you can't deal with all. There's so many off of 3 plants. You got to be kidding me. It's going to be that kind of, so many cucumbers. So many folks complain about their cucumbers and eggplants. They just don't form well. Well, that's the reason. The nutrients are not quite heavy enough. Turn that in 1 shovel's depth. Let it set for a few weeks. Pray for snow and rain. Kind of have that soil kind of settle and percolate. You're going to be ready to plant potatoes, garlic, onions, cauliflower, lettuce, broccoli, starting in March.
Hi, Lisa here with the plants of the week and our Arizona Gold Euonymus.
An excellent choice for colored hedges and as tough as they come.
This evergreen displays bold gold, head-high foliage that grows even thicker when sheared.
A single shrub makes a bold statement, but in rows they make excellent visual and sound barriers.
Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott, where people who love bold gold hedges, they love to shop.
You're listening to Garden Master Ken Lain, owner of Waters Garden Center in Prescott. Join his daily podcast for timely garden advice seasonally right for the gardens. Ken can be found throughout the week at Waters Garden Center in Prescott or through his website at top10gardener.com.